war is not the answer. I have never liked war. The only kind of warfare I want to do is spiritual warfare. You understand what I'm saying? Spiritual warfare. So let me sort of shift and tell any parent that might be listening to start teaching your kids politics early. Your kids should know who their congressmen are. They should know who their city councilmen are. They should at least know who their United States senators are. Just like they know who the president is and the governor is, they need to know a few of the regional politicians who are in charge of their areas. You should teach your children politics early. Because one of the things I learned about politics is if you understand politics, you understand the world. And the people who run the world are the people who have mastered politics. Many of them are not politicians themselves, but they buy. Oh, I'm trying to keep it real, you all. They buy the politicians who are in office. And so you either become a politician yourself or a lobbyist. You understand what I'm saying? Or the CEO of a company so that you can have access to all these presidents who claim that they will never give access to the well-connected. All of them do. All of them. Because money talks and that other stuff walks. And so, master politics. One of the reasons the poor people stay poor in this country is because most poor people don't know anything about politics. Most poor people don't know anything about business. Most poor people don't know anything about politics. Most poor people just don't know. And so my thing is, if I know that rich folk dominate politics and money and business, and if I want to be rich and I want to be successful, then why don't I learn something about politics? And why don't I learn something about business? To me, some of this stuff is common sense. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure some of this stuff out. And I keep looking and trying to figure out why our people have been trapped for so long. And anybody that knows me knows I'm not just concerned about black people, I'm concerned about white people, I'm concerned about all people. But right now I'm just talking about the poor in general, the underclass. I try to figure out why has the underclass been the underclass for so long. Some of it is tied to institutional, systemic racism. Some of it is tied to educational injustice and educational racism. So yes, there's a thing called educational injustice when we use the property taxes in some states to decide how much money is going to go to the school district. And therefore, of course, in Atlanta, Georgia, the schools in Buckhead are going to be better than the schools in Bankhead because the schools in Bankhead are poor. And the houses are cheap houses. And the public housing units are even cheaper, the ones that they still have left. But the bottom line is people in those areas don't pay much in taxes. And so that money does not go to the system the way it should. And in some states they've evened it out and they don't use that formula anymore. But in some of these old places like Alabama, I don't really know. But I will tell you, Mississippi, there's a thing called educational injustice and educational racism. In the 60s, it was called segregation. Now it can't be called segregation anymore, even though we still segregate a lot in this country, our students. A lot of our segregation now is not based on race. A lot of the segregation we see is now based on class. And so we have to take into consideration in any discussion designed to elicit some solutions to the plight of black America and white America and poor America in general, these allowances for the fact that there is racism, classism, and bigotry. But having said all of that, at the end of the day, I always ask myself, what can poor people themselves do? In other words, what is my place and my part in this problem? Because if there's a problem and there's some racism, there's some mistreatment, and some of it can be blamed on this and some of it can be explained away that way, my only question is, what ownership do I need to take in this problem in order to solve the problem? And that's what I'm getting at. What can the poor people do to no longer be the poor people? And the answer may seem complex, but I don't think it is. I think it's pretty simple. Figure out what the people who are not poor did and then do that. You understand what I'm saying? To me, it's pretty simplistic. Some people say I oversimplify stuff, but sometimes they say I overcomplicate it. So, you can't please people. You darned if you do, you darned if you don't. But my thing is this. If I'm fat, again, there are allowances. Some people have thyroid problems and all kind of other problems. And I think some of this is made up. I do know that obesity can be a disease, and some of it's generational and hereditary and all of that. But at the end of the day, by and large, obesity means I eat too much and don't exercise enough. Can you hear what I'm saying? And so if I'm fat and I no longer want to be fat, I'm going to find someone who weighs how much I want to weigh and figure out what they eat and what their workout plan is, and eat what they ate and work out the way they worked out. And in due season, my body will look similar to theirs. It won't look just like it because we're all different, but it'll look similar. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm broke as a joke and if I'm poor,
in a quarter mile, turn left onto West 30th Street,
and have been poor all this time, I need to figure out what rich people do and then mimic, emulate, and imitate some of those habits. Do you hear what I'm saying to you tonight? Okay, I got to get out of here for now. I'll come back later. Remember, you can if you think you can. Remember, no matter what you're going through, this too shall pass. Yes, it will. Come see me. Those of you who do love the Lord and want to get to know Him, come over to Yes We Can Worship Center at 5857 South Central Avenue, Suite 180. Every Friday night at 7 o'clock p.m. we meet. Every Friday night at 7 o'clock p.m. we have a deliverance service at Yes We Can Worship Center, 5857 South Central Avenue, Los Angeles, California, Suite 180. Tell everywhere you go, we want people to know.